you're an athlete and you want to make yourself more valuable in the market, the NIL marketplace, you have to like show a resume of you creating content, that would actually be valuable for brands to use, so that if you do reach out to a brand, you can already show proof that you make content and that you will provide value to a brand.
Welcome to today's episode of the Business of Athletes podcast, where we cover the business of athletes from all angles. On today's episode, we had the pleasure of interviewing the two co-founders of WeBall Sports, Nehemiah Mitchell and Darrion Heron. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, what's going on, Carl? You doing all right?
How's it going?
Man, I'm glad to have y'all. So these two dudes, I got a chance to play with them at Vanderbilt. So I know a little bit about their background, but I'm going to let y'all take the time right now to give our audience some background about yourselves.
Well, I guess I'll start it off. Like Carl said, my name's Darrion Heron. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, originally born and raised. Been playing football my entire life. Was fortunate enough to get a full scholarship to Vanderbilt University once I graduated high school in 2012. Went to Vanderbilt for all 4 years and graduated. Played football, obviously. Once I was done with football at Vanderbilt, I was able to go to the Rams for a few months for a free agent deal. That didn't work out during the preseason. I ended up getting cut. Started working out and doing stuff like that to maybe stay in shape for some more calls. Didn't want to kind of get stuck in that loop like a lot of athletes do, so I went ahead and started a career. Just started working a regular 9 to 5. Then this whole business thing started with WeBall Sports. As of last year, around this same time, I was able to quit my full-time job to do this full-time. So ever since we've been doing that, business has been great for us.
Yeah, so I'm Nehemiah Mitchell. I'm originally from Hayward, California, in the Bay Area, for those who may not know. Grew up my whole life playing sports, basketball, football, baseball, and later in my high school career, kind of more so focused on football, and was fortunate enough to get a scholarship out of high school to Sacramento State. It's a smaller D1 AA school in Sacramento, California, which is, the capital of California. Played there for 2 years. I redshirted one of the years there, and then I decided to kind of take a bet on myself, and I always had dreams of like playing at a bigger stage and, at a bigger school. Not that nothing was wrong with, Sacramento State, but, it wasn't like the biggest school, it didn't have the best fan base or anything like that. So I went to junior college, the City College of San Francisco. I went there for literally one semester, and then I was fortunate to get a couple of scholarships to bigger D1 schools, and, chose Vanderbilt University, where I met Darrion and Kari. And, I played there for 2 years, and then after my 2 years there, I kind of was, lost in the shuffle on, like, what I wanted to do, what my career path was, because, when you're playing, at the collegiate level, that's kind of like the last thing that's kind of like on the back burner, if you don't make it to the NFL or, whatever the next level that you want to play at. And, I was, a little bit lost for, about a year, working at a couple of different jobs. And then, that's when, the idea of WeBall Sports came to me and Darrion, and, just always just going off of, what I thought, we both specialized in, and just knowing about football and just figuring out what our passion was. That's kind of how WeBall Sports came about. And, just providing great apparel to athletes across the nation. That's, what inspired us to, do what we do every day. And, fortunately, with a lot of hard work and effort, it, all worked out to this point.
Word. So I want to stay right there for a second before we get to the actual business of WeBall, because this podcast we want to cover the business, so we want y'all to get into the ins and outs. But I know y'all got a lot of good game to give to the athletes, the college athletes watching this, who might be wondering what their future looks like in football and what their pivot looks like. So Darrion, you said you after your chance with the Rams, you still had opportunities, and I remember us having a conversation about this in the past. But you said you knew right away that you wanted to pivot away from that. Like what advice do you have for any athlete that might be going through that same situation and wondering whether they should pivot now or keep chasing? Like what went through your head, and what advice can you give to an athlete right now that's going through that same thing?
Yeah, definitely. So with my situation, out when I was out there in the Rams, I was content with everything that I, was able to produce out there, and so I had like no regrets coming back. I know a lot of athletes who get cut, always wish like, man, I wish I would have did this better, wish I would have did that better. But ultimately, I knew I gave it my all out there, and sometimes politics just get in the way of that. So when I came back home, I was really content with what I did. I was proud of what I put out there. Stayed working out, like I said, and then, there were, I maybe worked out for like 2 or 3 months, wasn't really getting any phone calls and stuff, working with my agent, and then I was just like, I'm okay with, my situation I was in. I was playing football at that point for about 18 years. I've been playing since I was like 4 years old. So, I was like, it's just time for me to start working. It's time for me to start a career, because the longer I wait to try to get a career, it's just going to be the harder, harder and harder as that progresses. So I went ahead and just got a 9 to 5. I was actually at Budget Rental Car here in Atlanta. Just started off as a, regular counter manager, and then I ended up working up my way to operations manager, making really good money, and then doing, wee ball, on my free time outside of work. And from, that point, this business just kind of took off, where I got the opportunity to, quit that job and do this full time. And, in a sense, I'm not saying like that's every, athlete who's done football, that's their journey or things like that. But I know a lot of athletes playing their whole life, they get caught up in, sports, and you can't blame them. That's all you've known your whole life, and it's hard to kind of walk away. But, you just got to realize, like, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just because you're done with football doesn't mean that you failed at life. I mean, most athletes don't make it to the NFL, level and things like that. And if you're able to make it to the NFL level, whether it's preseason or whether you got cut the first year or 2 years and things aren't working out, you should still really be proud of yourself and, those goals that you accomplish. Yeah, everybody wants to be in the NFL for 5, 10, 15 plus years and things like that. But, I mean, that's very few people, who get that opportunity. So you always need to have a backup plan in a sense. You just got to know that when football is over, it's over with. There's nothing wrong with going out here and starting a career, starting a business. We did both. I started a career and we started a business, and, we're fortunate enough that the business took over, and we just needed to be here a lot more, so we were able to do this full time. So, any athletes out there who are worried about like being done with football and kind of in that transition period, just go for it at the end of the day. It just sucks when I see a lot of athletes out there who get stuck in that, that phase of trying to play football for 4 or 5 years, when they could have been starting that job opportunity at year one, and then now they could have been, operations manager or higher up in the ranks and stuff like that. But at that point, they wasted 5 years of their life, chasing a dream that, I hate to say, it's probably not going to work out, because after that time, it hardly ever works out for anybody. There's very few stories where you hear about somebody who's been playing or trying to be in the league for 4 or 5 years and they actually become very successful. I mean, that's just, the way things are.
Word, yeah, man. That's a very interesting perspective, because there's a lot of guys who do that, and it's hard to let it go, especially when you love it and when you're passionate about it. And I'm not saying that that's wrong to keep chasing it. I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong, because like you said, there are stories of guys who do go after it and they get it after a while, and but then there's stories like you guys who pivot quickly, and it's the best thing that you guys could have done. So I wanna stay right here with football for a second before we transition to wee ball. Are there any stories or like teaching moments from your careers that you guys still hold on to and draw from in your day-to-day business operations that keep you going, or have made you think in a more unique way while running wee ball?
I would just say it's not one specific story, but when things are tough, and sometimes certain situations are not going your way, I feel like football and sports in general, anybody who's played at a high level, you could always go back to like when times were tough during practice, or it was super hot outside, or you're putting on the pads and you really don't want to do it. I feel like just that just being brought up in that environment and just having that mold um, created me personally, to like not really. I don't really. I try not to complain, or I try to just roll with the punches because I feel like that um, enabled me to just power through things when times get tough. Because yeah, like just playing at Vanderbilt and stuff like that when it was just really hard, really hot outside, or it's just like just things that you don't want to do. Being a collegiate athlete, like you got to go to school, you got to go 6 a.m. lifts, you got to come back and watch film. It's like in order to be great, you had to do all those things, and sometimes that like a lot of those aspects translate to business. There's business is great when you're like on in front of Forbes and you're getting on all these top podcasts and it seems great, but a lot of people don't think about all the the hard stuff that most successful entrepreneurs had to go through when they weren't getting any recognition, or just like when things weren't going their way, they had like a huge tax bill that they didn't know about. Like these are certain aspects in business that don't get glorified as much. I would say people just always. I would say people a lot of times they look towards all the positive things in business, like, oh, you can make $1 million a year passively. You don't have to do anything. So I just felt football allowed me to just have that that work that work ethic to where it's like I'm gonna just get things done and I'm not gonna complain. If things go bad, I'm gonna roll with the punches. I'm gonna salvage what I can salvage and just keep moving forward every day. Just take one step a day. And even if you do take a step back, just plan and figure out like what you're gonna do to keep progressing forward.
Yeah, that's I mean a lot of principles from business, investing, sports. They all run over together, man. And like you said, like everybody talks about the passive income and making that one time investment that gets them to financial freedom, and it don't really happen like that. So since you mentioned that, I'm gonna ask you. So like, what are some of the tough times that you guys have persevered through with the business?
A few big things were, like inventory. I wouldn't necessarily say it was hard for us to get, but I mean, when we blew up, it blew up fast, and we were, just trying to get inventory. Our manufacturer, they were making it, making it as fast as they could, trying to get it over. So us with the whole inventory thing, it's just more so us knowing how much that we need to order, so that we don't have too little or have too much of it at one time, because obviously when you got a ton of inventory, you've got money invested into that inventory, so therefore your money is tied up in this inventory, and if you got way too much and it's not selling as fast as you originally thought it was, that money's tied up when you could have been using that money for marketing, other things that you may need to grow your business. So us learning that curve, and I wouldn't, I say we learn new stuff every day, every week here. It's not like that one thing, because that might have been one issue, but then you get into a whole nother issue with your inventory. So it's just new things constantly for us having to figure out. And I would say another big thing was like our office and warehouse space. We got our first office space. It was like, was it 1,200 square feet?
Yeah, 1,300.
About 1,300 square feet, and we thought, okay, this is a good size, like for us to start off with, and we signed a 2-year lease with it. And within 6 or 7 months, maybe less than that, we outgrew that space. So now we were, out here looking for, a bigger warehouse space. Now we're in a 6,000 square foot warehouse space right now. And, I wish in the beginning we would have went ahead and went a lot bigger than that. That way we're not paying on 2 different, leases, because now we still own, or we still have the lease over at our other office for another year, and we don't even use that space. It's completely empty. And we're also paying for that, which luckily we're fortunate enough that we're doing really well for ourselves with the business, and the business is doing good that we can afford. But that's not going to be the case for every business person when they grow, because they got all their money just tied up into their lease, inventory, and things like that. But for us, we enjoy it too, and don't get us wrong, like, yeah, it sucks when big things go wrong, but it's also a learning experience. I think with everybody, if you can't like enjoy learning new things and how to fix situations, that there's really nothing that you can look forward to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, how did COVID affect you guys' business? Because I know a lot of small businesses or businesses, period, had issues when COVID hit because of supply chain. Was that a big issue, or were you? And how were you guys able to navigate it if it was?
Yeah, I feel like COVID, it was kind of like a gift and a curse because, as you know, just when COVID happened, there was like an influx of consumers getting a bunch of money from PPP and the EIDL grants and the stimulus checks. So a lot of people had a lot of money and was just sitting on their couch. And then us being an e-commerce business, people were just ordering stuff online. So it kind of benefited our business pretty well. But then the curse would be going back to what you said, the supply chain issues, because um, orders that would usually take maybe like 2 or 3 weeks for us to get were taking like 4 to 6 weeks for us to get. And sometimes we would try to do C shipments because C shipments we could reduce the shipping cost. And usually C shipments take about 30 days, but during COVID, I don't know if you ever seen like some of those pictures at the dock, but like there's
Yeah.
just so many boats with just an influx of shipping containers. They couldn't even offload them, and like some of those shipments that we or some of those orders that we place when our manufacturers were taking like 60 to 90 days to get. So it's like it was really hard to like forecast our inventory. And then during that time, that's when we had the largest amount of growth within our company. So it's like we didn't, every day we're just getting more and more and more orders. So we couldn't really forecast how much inventory we needed to buy. And then on top of that, we didn't know when we were going to get the inventory. Like we would place an order. It may take 2 or 3 weeks for our manufacturer to make it. And then usually that order, it may take 2 weeks. Normally it'll take 2 or 3 weeks for shipping times, but then when COVID hit, it may take a month, it may take 2 3 months. Sometimes our manufacturer would be like, there's nothing we could tell. Like they couldn't give us any information on certain packages
Right.
that were delayed. So yeah, I would say it was really like a gift and a curse.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, but I mean, people were spending money, like you said, during COVID, and I think sports are one of those things that don't really ever. Luckily for us, like we're in the sporting business. I feel like for sports, whether it's recession or people don't have money, sports keeps going. No matter, in my opinion, it keeps going.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that's what they say, like recession proof. It just keeps going, no matter the situation, whether we're in a pandemic or recession. People are gonna still play football. They're gonna watch football. They're gonna
And you seen
play
it with the NBA bubbles and
NBA.
then like
They're gonna find a way to.
in California,
Correct.
like even though they shut down all the high school football, people were just like making travel teams and playing like 11 on 11 tackle football, like in fields like in the middle of nowhere. So it's like people like what he said, people were like still playing sports, whether their high school allowed them to, whether like the NBA said they're gonna shut stuff down, the NFL said like there was still an NFL season. It may have not been any fans, but people were still playing. So
Right.
yeah, like
Yeah.
we go off of that point.
Yeah, man, that was a unique time in sports for everybody. Like you mentioned, the NFL season. So I want to back up, and I want to like, what led you guys to We Ball? Because I went and did some research and read you guys' mission statement, and it's about building a community, premium products, and having originality. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys started off with the streamer towel, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, and that was really hot. Like everybody was rocking the streamer towel. Like if you play football, you saw the streamer towel. So like what led you to Wee Ball, and what gave you that idea to like, you know what, we're gonna make this streamer towel? Like how did you know that was gonna be viable?
Yeah. So when when I played in high school and college, I don't know if it was popular out in the East Coast, but like in the West Coast, it was players like Reggie Bush. And a lot of people on my team when I played at Sacramento State, they would wear these like long towels that they would just cut, from bathroom towels before the hotel game, and they would cut them in that like basically the same exact design and dimensions that our streamer towels were. So, when I thought of the idea, I'm like, why hasn't anybody like made this type of towel? And like you would still see it, like players in NFL and stuff will wear them. But nobody like actually professionally manufactured that towel. So yeah, I kind of estimated what the dimensions were gonna be like. just from like prior usage of wearing a towel like that, and found a manufacturer through Alibaba, and yeah, it was just like off to the races after that. And really, after we first got the towel, then it was like all the other things with business started coming, like marketing and building a website and how to acquire customers. Like, they don't teach you any of that in school, so it's like, it's all, like what he said, it's been a learning experience even till today. We're always learning new things. So yeah, that's kind of like essentially how the towel came to existence and really what started Weeball Sports.
Yeah, and every product kind of came from after that. And like you said, like we just try to create trendy products and things like that that's not on the market that people are looking for, like our scrunch socks. A lot of people are just cutting multiple socks just to get that look, but we're like, hey, instead of having to do that and go through all that work, and it, sometimes it looks sloppy when they cut up stuff because the thread starts coming loose, we'll go ahead and pre-manufacture these. That way you don't have to worry about doing that. And once we did that, the socks they started going crazy on the website where we just couldn't keep inventory no matter what we did. Our manufacturer couldn't even keep up with how many they needed to produce at a single time, and we were getting shipments like once a week at that point just to keep up with it, and different things like that. Now you got the single leg tights. A lot of people just buy the regular legs and cut one leg, or like, well, that looks sloppy, let's just go ahead and pre-manufacture it. So we try to focus on those products and come out with those products first that nobody that they want them, but they're not on the market. So that's kind of how we built our business, and kind of we're always looking for trendy things that our customers are looking for. I mean, a lot of customers DM us ideas like, hey, you guys should do that. We'll get samples made, and if it works out business wise, we'll start producing it. So we always listen to our customers, and we're always watching what's the next trendy thing that people are doing. That way we can go ahead and start manufacturing and be one of the first companies to do it.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to our mission statement with just being a community and then always having premium products. So like, of course, when you make products that start selling like crazy, people are going to want to copy you and try to like take some type of market share. So really every product that we've, that's been top selling for us, everybody, like there's been multiple companies that copy us, but we're like pretty definite, like, our quality always beats theirs, and it's still relatively the same price. So yeah, we just try to tie everything back to our mission statement with just building a community, like what he said, listening to athletes and looking at products that they want, having premium products, and then going back to what he said again, just being original and having innovation with all of our products. Looking for trends that aren't on the market and actually physically creating those products.
Aside from being a premium product, and that was actually my next question. So I see you thinking. I see the wheels turning. How did y'all prevent those knockoffs? Like, cause with the streamer towels and with the scrunch socks, cause I even bought a pair of the scrunch socks from y'all when I was in college, like my last year. So how did y'all prevent people, aside from being like the most premium in the space, how did y'all prevent the big companies from knocking off the towel? And I noticed you guys had a ski mask and the visor and the padded socks. How did y'all eat up their market share and then prevent them from trying to double back and take some of y'all's market share?
Well, the biggest thing were the towels. So the towels, we actually have a U.S. patent on those. So a lot, no matter what they do, we have a design patent for that specific length and the dimensions. Which, like we said, we have a lot of companies who try to knock us off, and we just have to send them cease and desist letters. Now, with the other products like the scrunch socks and things like that, a lot of our followings and a lot of people out there know that we were the original creators of that. And, ultimately, we can't stop anybody necessarily we can't get a U.S. patent on like the length of a sock. That's something that, we're not able to acquire. And there's a few other products like that as well that we just can't acquire a U.S. patent for. But I felt like, since our community has been so strong and we've gained a lot of followers and a lot of attention with our products, our trendy products, socks and things like
and
that.
They know the quality as well.
And they know the quality because they've, ordered from us and received them. And, our quality is just unmatched, and we can guarantee that based on the other copycat companies who come out there and try to, copy our products and stuff like that. But there's there's no saying that a bigger company couldn't come in and just knock off our product. The only product that we have that they can't is going to be the streamer towel. But I feel like we just built that community around our other products where they know what they're going to get. They're not looking to go to another company to get their products, even if it's the exact same as ours, and they know that the quality is going to be top notch. I hate to keep bringing up the quality, but we 100%.
But no, that's it.
We 100%
That's
know
what
that our
it is.
quality is the best, and I'll put money on the line about that.
It's like the movie, what is it, American Gangster with Denzel. It's like, Blue Magic is a brand. The quality, I guarantee it. The whole Denzel Washington line. So like that's huge because your community is looking to you for a quality of product, and you can't step on the work or else you're gonna lose the community. And so when you talk about community, you guys have built a really robust community. Almost 80,000 Instagram followers, about 13 on TikTok, and you guys are putting out really solid content with the reels and the socks and everything. Like, so how are you guys coming up with content to do that? And do you have like a team that's doing that for you, giving you ideas, or is it all organically between the two of you guys?
Well, we have a team that we work with. He's actually behind the camera. He films most of those reels for us and everything like that. So we were just able, to build that relationship with him, and we also have, a couple of athletes that we work with that we film. We try to film at least once a week for a couple of hours just to get as much content as possible. That way, we just have that, those videos and things like that we could post once a day, and we eventually want to, where we have so much content that we're posting 2 or 3 times a day, because at the end of the day, content is king, and we figured that with in a sense that TikTok is just blowing up, and the style of TikTok videos where they're the music, people are doing different things like that. So that's like the style now of social media. So now we figured let's do this for Instagram, because Instagram, they're just not posting like pictures, they're not promoting pictures as much as they used to.
Ever since they came out with reels.
Ever since they came
the
out
new
with
algorithm.
Reels. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to, like, somebody who had 100,000 followers back in the day, they'll get 5,000-6,000 likes on just them posting one picture, because that's what they were trying to, put in the consumer's face. But now, when we started posting pictures, we just weren't getting the same traction that we used to. So it's just all a learning experience. And I know Nehemiah, he has a lot more information with like the marketing and stuff like that, and looking at it, that, the reels and that TikTok style videos, that's what Instagram is pushing on the algorithm. So once we, figured out that idea, we just started posting, and, videos are just blowing up for us and just getting a ton of content. It's just all organic as well.
Yeah,
We're not having to put a ton of money into just regular marketing like Facebook and all that other stuff anymore, because it's just all organic. I mean, we're doing better than, technically when we were spending a ton of money running ads on these different platforms.
Yeah.
Word.
And
Man, that's
like
crazy.
what you said, it just goes back to just having a team where everybody has their roles, and just coming in every week, like how he just mentioned our cameraman Church. He's here all the time. No complaints. Here every day, and just helping us get a lot of content that we could use throughout the week. And it's just been, it's been amazing, because it's opened up a whole new lane, as Darrion said, because we used to pay like a lot of money to run different Facebook ads, Snapchat, like we were on literally everything, and spending thousands of dollars every month. But now with how social media is going, and how Instagram has to now compete with TikTok, with their Instagram reels, we've been been able to drive so much traffic and sales just through just creating like just a lot of good content, and just short form content, and just pushing it that way, instead of just having to burn through our advertising budget. We just kind of more so shifted that budget into having like a whole in-house team of creators. So we have a couple different cameramen that help us out as well. And then just partnering with athletes and things of that sort. So yeah, it's been a great journey. Just really shifting our whole marketing strategy to this, to fit the new social media algorithm.
Man, what's obvious is that you guys know y'all's craft. Like just hearing y'all talk, it's obvious that y'all put the time in. Y'all have done the education. You know what I'm saying? You've studied, and I mean, from what you built, like the proof is in the pudding. So that's huge. I got one last question for you guys, man. So you just talked about content being king. Partnering with a community. There's a new landscape in college sports with NIL. That being name, image, and likeness for those listening who don't know what NIL is. Um, do you guys have a strategy around that? And if you do, what would you tell a young athlete who's getting into the whole NIL space? Like, what are you guys looking for? What advice would you give to them? So, I mean, I guess that's a two-part question. One, what is your NIL strategy? What are you looking for? And then two, what would you tell a young athlete that's looking to monetize their brand?
For us, with the whole NIL, we haven't really been in that space. I mean, we've thought about it, obviously, but we don't want kids to focus on that part of too much, because it's a lot that goes into NILs. I mean, a lot of these like young kids have agents and things like that. They
Yeah.
obviously want to be paid for promoting your brand, and we just kind of more traditional on that side of it. Like, we just wanted to be all organic. Like, if you mess, like in a sense, if you mess with us, we're gonna mess with you. You know what I mean? As
And
far
that's
as like,
kind of what we've been doing.
yeah, that's what we've been doing with athletes. Is like, we'll just send you gear in that sense, and just the traditional way. If you like the gear and things like that, you can shout us out. If not, no harm. But as far as us like signing athletes, paying them $5,000-10,000+ like that's not something that like our business strategy for us. We feel like we do a lot better without having to even do that kind of stuff, and having our name and like all the top athletes in their bio. I mean, they mess with us regardless. Without NIL deals, they still mess with us. As you can see on our Instagram page, we all the top athletes are rocking our gear, and we've been fortunate enough that a lot of them have been like long-time followers and things like that. So I mean, we get a ton of DMs every day asking for NIL deals, or are we looking to sponsor anybody? And our simple question is like, no, no hard feelings. It's not that you're not a good athlete or things like that. We're not going to take anything like that away from you, but that's just not what we're our part of our business right now. Now, 2 years down the line, a year down the road, if that
more of a budget. Yeah.
if that part of our business, if we're looking more towards that, then of course we're not going to be naive and say we're never going to do an NIL deal, but just right now that's just not something that we're focused on and trying to build right now, because we do really well without having to do that.
Yeah, I think we're just really fortunate to already build our name within just the sports industry before NIL or any of that came to light. We were already selling athletic apparel to some of and like the top, like what he said, the top athletes were already wearing our gear. So
Right.
yeah, we
Hell,
just,
I was buying it.
yeah. So it's just like we feel like that we don't really need to invest money into that right now, because people are gonna wear it regardless. And it just goes back to our mission statement with we were just already able to build a community and have quality products. So we feel like anybody that we do want to reach out, and they're like, don't get us wrong, there are athletes we work with, but it's not monetary. We'll reach out to them, but usually they just want to work with us because they actually like our gear. It's not like we had to force it on them, like, hey,
Correct.
here's $5,000 and you have to wear our gear and post. Like, if we send it to them, they're gonna actually wear our gear and create content with it. And then we also incentivize a lot of the top 5 and 4 stars that we work with. Like, the more content you create and post on your social media platforms, the more gear we'll send you. So there's a couple athletes that we work with that we've sent them like over $1,000 worth of gear just because they always create new content and post it, and it's just been a great thing just to grow it organically.
Yeah, we just want the relationship just to be organic. Like Nehemiah, that was a really good point that he brought up. Like, we don't want to force anybody to promote our brand, which, I mean, that's kind of the name of how a lot of these big companies do. They they pay you money and say, hey, promote, but that athlete is only doing it just because you're paying them. They don't really care about your brand or anything like that. They're not like real like brand ambassadors or anything like that. Like with our situation, our athletes, they like our our gear. They were buying our gear before we even reached out to them and things like that. So that's just
Absolutely.
just helping that side of the business out. But that's a really good point. We don't want to force anybody. We don't want to reach out to an athlete who's got 200,000. Hey, we'll pay you just to post our stuff, and they have no idea who We Ball Sports is. And a lot of people who reach out to us about NIL deals have no idea about We Ball Sports. Most of them don't even follow us a lot of the times. So I know when they reach out, it's like they just want it,
like fake love.
Yeah, just fake love. They just want something free. They want money or something like that, and that's not what we're about or looking towards doing.
And then to answer the second part, if you're an athlete and you want to make yourself more valuable in the market, the NIL marketplace, you have to show a resume of you creating content. That would actually be valuable for brands to use, so that if you do reach out to a brand, you can already show proof that you make content and that you will provide value to a brand. Like if you're there's athletes that reach out to us and they're like, hey, can I get an NIL deal? And I'll go on their it's not like I'm actually interested, but I'll just go on their their profile page and they only have one post. It's like even if I was interested, it's like, how could I picture myself? How could I picture myself as a company that you would provide any value to me, because you haven't shown any prior
there's no proof of concept.
Of you doing that before. So it's like, if that's what if that's the lane that you want to do, like you want to get a lot of NIL deals and things of that sort, you have to create some type of portfolio of you doing it for other companies. And sometimes you just have to do it for free. Like you might actually just have to buy the people's gear and create content with it, and then show like, hey, I already made 10 TikTok videos and it's gotten X, Y, and Z this much analytics and likes and saves and stuff. Would you mind sending me a package? Because I've kind of showed a proof of concept that I can create valuable content for you that you could use and repurpose. So more athletes just have to transition their mind to where it's like, how can I provide value for a company rather than a company providing value for me? Because most people just, like what he said, they just want free gear. So it's just like you just want something from the company. It's more so, if I'm paying for your service, I should be able to provide value to you. So yeah, that's kind of some advice I would give to some athletes who want to.
Yeah, but then on the other end of it too is like play sports.
Correct,
At the end of the day, a lot of athletes focus on this NIL deal, and it's taken away from the actual sport of football. Like they're more so worried about making money. If you really want to make money and be in the big leagues and be good. Yeah. Focus on your craft while you're DMing 100 companies. Why aren't you watching extra film? Why aren't you doing extra workouts and things like that? Like why are you just trying to focus on getting an NIL deal? Because at the end of the day, if you produce on the football field, the money it's gonna come by itself. Mm-hmm. It's original. You don't have to be out here all day sitting on DMs, just doing that all day. So focus on football. Like, I mean, to me, I really don't kind of hate NIL deals, kind of how the athletes have been doing it. Now I think it's just taken away from just the love of sport. A lot of people, they're not focused on football anymore. They're focused on how to make money with their name, image, and likeness, and it's kind of just taken away from the sport. People just need to get back to the original, produce on the field.
The reason why you play at a Division I school.
Why you play at a Division I school. Be out there, focus, produce on the field. Trust me, when these companies start watching TV on Saturdays or whatever, they're gonna see you and they're gonna be like, I want to work with that guy. Yeah. Even if you're a really good athlete and you have 2,000-3,000 followers, they're still gonna come. Just because you're producing, you're making a name for yourself out there. But like I said, a lot of people are just taken away from that. They just prefer to instead of doing extra work on the field and trying to, get big that way, they just rather just, let's DM 100 companies and let's see which one, responds and bites, give me, maybe send me free a lot. And that's the thing. There's millions and millions of athletes, and they don't realize like most of these companies aren't paying those athletes. They're only paying like the top 1% really. Like $100,000, $200,000. They're not. I'm sorry. Like a lot of these, you're not. Most people aren't going to get paid from NIL. You may get some free gear. Maybe $50 worth of gear, and they make you put like their name in your bio, and that's it. That's not really like an organic partnership. It's like you just using your bio space and for $50 worth of free gear. Like, is that really worth it? You know, in my opinion, it's not.
Yeah, NIL, it's a cool opportunity, but you're right, man. It's a lot of people that's chasing the content instead of chasing the craft.
Yep.
And, you know, it's a whole Masonism, but you got to keep the main thing the main thing. He used to tell that to us all the time. And so, you know, I think that's valuable game, man. I appreciate y'all boys, man. Y'all gave a lot of good game on this pod, a lot of good business advice. So just one last thing, I want you to tell them where they can find you on the different socials and, you know, the page and everything.
Yeah, so all of our socials, just WeBall Sports. Website is going to be WeBallSports.com. You just literally type it in on Google. Our website will pop up. All of our information is going to be on there. TikTok, Instagram, just everywhere. I mean, you turn on the game on Sunday, you're going to see WeBall Sports on one of those streamer towels.
Right.
You know, you're going to see our gear out there. So yeah, just check us out. Like we said earlier, I mean, if you're going to be part of the community, give us a DM. Just, you know, if you have a good product idea that you're out there looking for, DM us, and, you know, we'll take a look at it. I mean, we love to listen to, you know, the athletes, because we don't play anymore. So, you know, we're not on the football fields and things like that. So it's hard for us to always know what's trending and things like that. So we're always just, you know, taking in information from people and, you know, ideas and, you know, trying to, you know, figure out a way to, you know, make it happen. So once again, you know, WeBallSports.com. You can WeBall Sports on TikTok, Instagram, everything. YouTube, we have a few YouTube videos where we give free game as well, so they can check that out.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate y'all, man. Congratulations on all the success. And as soon as I jump off this call, man, I'm finna go put in an order for some socks, man. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having us as well.
All right, no doubt.